3 years ago, I was running a successful content agency that looked brilliant from the outside. My calendar was full, I had loads of great clients, and I had a team of 50 people. But on the inside, I was phoning my mum to borrow rent money, and towards the end, it was something that was costing me more than just financials, and I ended up losing it. And today, what I'm going to do is share that story with you, but also tell you how it happened, as you might start seeing these signs in your business already, and I want to make sure you can avoid the same fate that I had. Because on paper, there was nothing wrong. I had decent margins, I had good clients, the work that we were doing was good. But on the inside, it was becoming something that was like a job for me, full-time, where I was so busy that I actually couldn't do any of the important things to keep the business running outside of the clients that I already had. My agency was called Grassroots Content, and we worked with a very specific niche of people that weren't allowed to run ads, and all of it was about SEO, content, website, those kinds of things. I had a team of 50, so it was mostly writers. We had a lot of editors, we had some SEO people, some web front-end developers, and then, of course, a management and project management team as part of all of that. And it all ran very, very smoothly. Everybody that worked there enjoyed it, but it just underneath was not doing what it was supposed to be doing. I was starting to become a professional forwarder of messages. I was busy all day, every single day, and most of what I was doing was just making that business run, rather than doing all the important things that need to be done around client acquisition, reaching out to new people, all of that stuff. Now, luckily, the industry that I was in, people are very well connected to each other, so I was getting lots of referrals and people telling other businesses about what I was doing, and that was keeping us going. But we got towards the end of 2022 and basically, or 2023, when ChatGPT was coming out, and we had two things happen at the exact same time. So one, all of the sites in the niches that I were in were victims of an update by Google, which wiped us out on a lot of our rankings and destroyed a lot of the confidence in content as a way of building business. And two, ChatGPT came out. And when ChatGPT came out, obviously, a lot of people were, one, concerned that content agencies were using it for content, and two, thinking they could use it for their own content and avoid paying thousands and thousands of dollars for people to deliver it for them. So those two things compounded. And very quickly, I went from a healthy sort of $30,000 to $40,000 a month revenue to sort of $2,000 or $3,000 a month revenue, which meant I had to let go of my entire team. Basically, everybody that worked for me needed to go. We kept one or two writers in the hope that maybe things would come back. But it never really did. And I was left thinking that I'd got a business that was going to keep me going for life, probably something I could sell in the future, to being back to square one again and trying to figure things out all over again. Now, it wasn't like this just happened overnight. The way I've explained it is like, oh, this thing happened with AI and suddenly, all of the rankings had disappeared. But this was something that was showing the warning signs for at least 6 months before that. A client would start to question whether or not it was bringing them the ROI that it used to. We'd keep getting updates coming through. There was the beginnings of, before ChatGPT, AI coming in and doing this work for them. There was changes to the legislation in the industries that I was in, so people were starting to look at other things and testing ads and all of this other stuff. And I knew that I needed to go and do outreach, and I needed to go and talk to people, and I needed to start building that business. But I didn't do it to that level. I mean, I did try to post some content, but none of it was really joined together, and it was all me just clutching at straws and hoping that things were going to return to themselves, and they just never did. And it took 6 months for me to just really accept that that was where I was at. And at the lowest point of it, after I'd lost all of my staff and had gone back down to $3,000 a month, I had to borrow money from my mum. So I was on the phone to my mum as a mid-30s man, asking to borrow rent while living in a foreign country and feeling pretty shit about the whole thing, to be honest with you. And it really knocked my confidence, because I thought, how can I be in this business with 50 people working for me that I'm leading, going back down to this? Like, how can I have built something that's so weak on the inside, but from the outside, it looks like something that is absolutely smashing it and, the best thing that you could possibly do in an online business. Now, the lesson people would normally take from a story like this is do more marketing, right? But that is absolutely not the message, because marketing is not something you can do in spurts. And if you do, you'll see already that it's going to be feast and famine. Marketing needs to be a sustained effort over a long period of time that gradually builds into something that just keeps delivering to you, and your body of work basically speaks for you and works for you while you're not online. It's not do more marketing, because the other thing is, if you're doing marketing in that way where it's spurts, as soon as you get busy, you land a new client, you're onboarding new staff members, the marketing goes by the wayside. And then also your bills, your expenses, your tools, everything's more expensive because you've got more clients, but you're so busy you don't have time to go and do the things that need to be done every single day consistently in order to pay you back. It needs to build your trust without you being there. It needs to run without you and build up and compound. It's got to be a system. If you're just out there like, oh, we haven't got clients, we need to do marketing, let's do some ads, whatever else, it's never going to work. So what I'm trying to tell you is you need to do something that works for you, that builds trust, while you're not even doing it like every single day as like a push, right? You need to do it consistently, which means every day, but not like, oh, do a quick spurt and then stop for 3 months, we got some clients. Do a quick spurt, stop for 3 months, we got some clients. It just does not work like that. As I mentioned in the previous video, those weeks where you feel like nothing's happening with the marketing, but you're still doing it, the buyers are quietly deciding in the background, and they're just as essential as the weeks where, you know, you're busy on it all of the time. So quiet weeks where nothing's coming through from your marketing are just as important, and you need to keep doing it despite it being quiet. So what changed for me is that whole collapse, and when I figured it out after that, was the reason that I start sharing and posting every single day, why I do my newsletter, why even if I'm away in a trip like I am now, I'm still recording videos, I'm still sending newsletters, and I'm still putting stuff out there, because I know if I stop doing that and I don't do it in a way that's sustainable, that I enjoy like this, I have to overplan everything, then I know that the same situation is going to come again in the future. And right now, I don't have a massive team. I don't have lots of people working for me. I run with a couple of VAs and occasionally use other staff that I outsource to support my clients and what I'm doing. But I'm much, much happier. The business is much smoother, and I can take time off like this and relax and go away and do other stuff. I'm sure you can probably hear that boat going off in the background because we are here in Vietnam. So yeah, it gives me that opportunity to do it because I've built it in a way that works for me. I'm not tied to sales calls. I'm not tied to doing marketing a certain way. I'm not looking at my ads and all of this stuff all of the time. It's all organic, it's all me, and it's basically built on a system that I know works with me putting a few inputs into it every day. Nothing I share in these videos or any of the videos you'll ever see is theory. I'm not telling you something I learned from somebody else as another guru. I'm telling you what I do every single day and why I publish. And you can see my thinking in my newsletter as well. So if you want to find out more about what I do and how I work, get into my newsletter. I tell funny stories, jokes, sometimes there's an insight, there's usually an offer in there too because, hey, I'm not a charity. But yeah, give it a subscribe, the link's in the comments, and I hope this has helped you a little bit, one, to understand me, but two, to identify maybe where in your business you might have a similar frailty that needs looking at sooner rather than later. And it doesn't have to be difficult to do, even if you hate content, you hate marketing, you can do it in a way, as long as it's consistent, that works for you, delivers you clients, and your body of work keeps people coming through the door, even when you're not online.